you stuck in your house with nothing to do? Erin is here to bake with you. Quarantine Baking with Erin.
Hi, and welcome to Quarantine Baking with Erin. Today we will be making blueberry pie. We're making blueberry pie because despite making blueberry muffins the other day, I still have an absurd amount of blueberries, and besides the actual making of the pie, crust and topping, blueberry pie is super easy to make. Unlike apple pie, you have to peel the apples, it takes all day. Blueberry pie, easy peasy. Okay, so today I will be working from this new cookbook that my bestie Tabby sent to me, also known as Sam. So I am going to be using her recipe for the pie crust. Although, as always, I will be taking shortcuts. This wonderful woman makes her pie crust by hand. It's not going to happen. We're obviously using the food processor. Okay, so we have 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. Straight in there. See, there's going to be no hand blending. Not on my watch. A teaspoon of sugar. And then she recommends a teaspoon of salt, so I could measure it. But I like things salty. I like them. I like my baking to be different every time. I don't know. Maybe that's just a cop-out for hating measuring. I'm sure that's actually the truth. Okay, so we're gonna just blend this together again so we don't have any salt clusters. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Ooh. Looks like it's okay. And then we're gonna take 2 sticks, which is 1 cup of butter, right out of the fridge. It specifically says that in the instructions. And we're going to use this fun little pastry cutter to cut them into, I think, 1/2-inch cubes, but they're going to be cut into smaller pieces than a stick is what they're going to get cut into. Hulk smash. This was, I don't think that pastry cutters are expensive, but we registered for this, and it was one of the best things that we got. Just awesome. Begin. Okay. I'll do this one, right? 2 sticks. 1 cup. One of these days I'm going to slice my finger off. Now would not be a good time to do that. Take the paper off. Pro tip. Okay, so we are going to toss this into the food processor, I think a little bit at a time. Again, we're modifying the recipe because she doesn't use a food processor. She uses a stainless steel bowl, chops it with this pastry cutter. I don't even know if that's the name for this. And then there's another pastry cutter that has more slicey guys on it. It's a whole process, but we're just gonna let the food processor do that for us. Add the butter. A little time. The butter should get about pea-size clumps. All right, that looks pretty right. Okay, and then One thing that Sister Pie does that I've never heard of before is not just using ice cold water, but using a water white vinegar mix. So I put about a tablespoon of white vinegar into this water. Usually I would just put ice cubes in, but I have ice cubes, which I can thankfully make in my house. So not dire. We're gonna add about a tablespoon at a time. We'll do 2 tablespoons of this around. And so we get that dough-like texture. That's usually a sign that something's happening. Yeah, that's a great texture. Okay, so I'm going to lightly flour my work surface. And plop this out. It's not, we're gonna finish mixing it on this work surface. So there's some flour at the bottom, but that's okay. I guess I could just keep it in the food processor, but what's done is done. I think it'll be fine. So maybe I should follow the recipe. Sometimes I like to take a shortcut and just immediately roll out the pie crust into the pie pan. I'm gonna put a little more water in here. This is not good technique. I should have added more water while it was in the food processor, but that's okay. Normally, I would, if I was taking shortcuts, which I love to do, I would just go ahead, roll this out into the butter pan, or into the pie pan, and just let it chill that way. I'm gonna keep adding some water because this is too floury. Although I think this is gonna make for a good flaky crust. But I think I'm gonna follow the instructions because it is so flaky. I don't feel like I should roll it out right now, right into the pan. So I'm just going to wrap it in my bees wrap. Again, thank you to whoever sent it to me. Let me know who you are so I can thank you properly. And let it chill for about 2 hours. So we've got our bees wrap, and I'm just gonna wrap. So cute. I'm just gonna wrap this up. Put some extra bees wrap on it because why not? And we're gonna put this in the fridge for at least 2 hours. You can chill it for a while, and I think you can freeze it for a year, but we're not gonna do that. And then we'll check back in when it's time to roll it out. I'm not sure if I added too much water. I guess maybe because it seems to be picking up the flour and incorporating it instead of letting the flour act as a barrier between it and the cutting board and the rolling pin, but that's right. We're gonna just kind of piece it together and smooth it out. Yeah, see, it keeps picking up. All right, now we're just gonna try our best, which is basically the motto of this show. Just try your best. And then other times I'm not gonna try my best because I don't feel like it. Which leads to all the shortcuts, which maybe, leads to things like crumbly pie dough, pie crust. At least it's gonna be somewhat even. Okay. Now this technical surgical maneuver, we're gonna plop it into it's quite a crumbly dough. I don't blame Sister Pie. I blame myself. Yeah, it is so. I we are improvising, and you know, next time if I make the same mistake, what I often do is I roll out the dough before I chill it, and then it just chills in the pan, which prevents this, but you're not supposed to do it that way, but I'm not really sure why. So we're kind of improvising by hand forming the dough and just trying to put it, you know, in the pie place where it would be if it had rolled out beautifully. But you know, we're gonna fill it with fruit and sugar, so I think that it will be okay, even though it's not the most technically precise pie. So maybe I could call this like fingerprint pie crust. Maybe that's, you can see my finger indentations everywhere. All right, we're just gonna add a little tiny bit more to this edge, and then we're ready to make the filling. So we have preheated our oven to 400. As you can tell, I still have this many blueberries. So this is 18 ounces, and this is 6 ounces. So we have 24 ounces, which is 3 cups. Forgive me in my mental math. All right, so we're gonna just add all the blueberries. I like to overfill my pies with fruits. So I think it's fine for me using all these blueberries. They'll fit in the pie. Okay. And so normally I would add some lemon juice to this mixture. This is not a recipe. This is just Erin at one point just started putting blueberries in a pie and just stirring some stuff together. So normally I'd add lemon juice, but I don't have any. So we're gonna add some amount of honey. Not about that much honey. I'm wondering, is there anything I should add instead of lemon juice? All right, as this show goes on, we're gonna take more and more risks because we're gonna keep running out of ingredients. So we're gonna do some lime juice. I think this is more, I think that the honey needs a liquid to kind of dissolve in, so it's not just honey and blueberries in the pie mixture. So we're gonna juice a lime, and we'll see. It'll be a different kind of pie. It might not make any difference at all. Michael will tell us at the end. Okay, we have lime, we have our honey. I put in, is this new cinnamon? All right. No, no, not new cinnamon. Just struggling. Some amount of cinnamon. I like to basically coat the top of it quite a bit. Some pumpkin pie spice. Why not? And some nutmeg. Why not? Every pie is different. I make my apple pies this way too, but you're not going to get a quarantine apple pie video because it's slicing them. I know I have a lot of free time, but I really hate peeling apples. Okay, I'm gonna add one more lime to this. All right, we're adding our last lime. So satisfying. Oh, oven's preheated. Hopefully it's not too limey, but it's a pie. There we go. Okay, that's gonna help break down that honey stickiness a little bit. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. So we'll go ahead and pour the blueberry mixture into the pie. It is so pretty, I think. Blueberry pie is so pretty. I see not too many blueberries at all. But wait, there's more. I like to top my pies with a crumble. One, because I hate rolling up pie dough. I've done it before. It's just a pain though. So I usually make a crumble topping. This is also not really from any specific recipe, but tinkering basically. So a stick of softened butter we're gonna cream. And then I usually do about 2/3 cup of brown sugar, but we're running out of brown sugar, so we're gonna supplement that with some amount of white sugar. Nice. And then a cup of flour. And then I do something that I've never seen in any recipe. It was actually kind of a weird accident. I think the accident was I was getting impatient and tried something new, and then I actually really liked it. I think I was getting impatient with how long it took the crumble pie. So right now I have like a good crumble consistency. That reminds me I usually put cinnamon in here, which is nice. So if you like this kind of fun crumble consistency, stop here. But what I do is I add probably about a tablespoon of water, maybe a little bit more. I've never worked with marzipan, but it makes me think of marzipan from what I've seen on the Great British Bake Off. So it's kind of like a paste almost that we're gonna manipulate and put on top of the pie. So let me grab the pie. This whole pie is just an exercise of, see how much Erin just makes up stuff as she goes? So I usually do this very sophisticated method of flattening the wettened crumble mixture. It's very important to wash your hands, especially during this crazy pandemic time, but a lot in baking because you are touching food, so don't worry. So very sophisticated, just making this fake crumble top. So it kind of has the somewhat look of a covered pie instead of a crumble, but it's much easier in my opinion. We're just gonna fill in these little bits. One day I hope to have the skills to like use pie cutting tools and make little, like pinch the edges and make little frills and make woodland creatures and leaves, stuff like that on the top, but decorating is not my favorite part of baking. So I don't know, maybe I'll get there. Let's see how long quarantine lasts. All right, so just filling in the gaps. I like to have it really cover the pie so you don't know what kind of pie it is until you cut into it. All right, and then we're gonna stick this in the oven, I think for about 40 minutes. We'll put it in for 30 and then we'll check back. Bye, pie. Oh, very important, very, very important. Let me grab a pan. Am I making enough noise? Grab the pan. We're gonna, okay, redo. Put the pan, or put the pie dish onto a pan because it will leak over and it'll put juices in the bottom of your oven and then there will be smoking and then you have to clean your oven. So just put it on top of a pan. We'll check back in. All right, so it's been about 30 minutes. The pie is looking great. So I have turned it down to 350 for another 15 minutes. We'll check back in. Okay, so our timer's gone off. gonna pull this out of the oven. Looks good. I think it looks done. The crust looks done, but not overly brown. Yeah. So we're gonna let this cool for like a full 3 hours. I usually eat my pie basically right away, but we're gonna try letting it cool and not eating it piping hot.
All right, so we're going for the final verdict here. This is how I eat my pie. This may be the best one you've ever made.
Wow.
It's that good.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. And I have to say, the crust is really good. And it's so good with that, what you call the topping.
The crumble topping.
The crumble topping.
All right.
My finger.
I'm trying the pie with the crust.
Right?
The crust is good. The difference between the lemon juice and the lime juice is not that significant, but I think that the lemon provides just that extra like intensity.
Mm-hmm. And you don't feel like the lime really brings that as well. Did you get a good piece of blueberry? Because I felt like you see it a lot in them.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give this 7.5 out of 10.
This is a 10 out of 10. This is a sincere winner.
Wow. Bye.
Well, are you stuck in your house with nothing to do? Erin is here to bake with you. Quarantine Baking with Erin.